Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back. Welcome to. Appreciate the support either way, cuzzies. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is August 14, 2025. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a window to my thought process and what I think potentially is playing out on Bitcoin. I'm going to be going over Chainlink, possibly XRP, maybe Ethereum. And I'm curious to see what's going on with Bitcoin's dominance. So, first things first, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. Really quick, I've been doing technical analysis for 17, 18 years. I've been in crypto trading, charting, talking, etc., for about 12 years. Witnessed multiple halvenings, traded multiple halvenings, formed thick skin to the bullshit. So, here we are in my most recent video. I said there's a couple of things we need to watch out for to help us understand what's going on in this pattern. The pattern being 15,000 up, down, 25,000 up, down, or you could even say up, down, 39,000 up, down, 53, up, down, 74, up, down, 98, up, down, 112. And now we're here. It's been a great run. People are up hundreds to thousands of percent. And as we go up, I get more worrisome about making sure I'm understanding what's happening on longer time frames to catch the longer time frame swings. Like, for instance, I don't care if I bought around here and sold around here. This play in general made 63% in a decent amount of time, right? I'm not a day trader. I am a swing trader at this point in my life. I'm totally cool waiting once again weeks to months to my plays playing out. So as of right now, what am I looking at? We're looking at the monthly chart first and foremost, right? Long-term trends predict short-term outcomes. You can't bet with the monthly, but I'm looking for clarity. I'm looking to see if anything has confirmed to the upside or the downside. Right now, I'm getting somewhat mixed signals because the indicators are conflicting, right? Your MACD is still volume going up and trend going up, so that means trend lines go up. We don't confirm a official bear market until your MACD death crosses. It's just that simple. We're not there yet. Now, I zoom into the weekly. I remember telling you guys this is the most important thing on the mid to short term. It's like, are we going to break this blue resistance line that has now been resistance once, twice, 3 times? Are we going to go back to the best place to accumulate more Bitcoin? And if you remember me telling you, we need to see what's happening here. Once I see what's happening here and I see a confirm break to the bottom or a confirm break above, I then have more data to then confidently say there's a higher probability of this happening. What does that mean? If we break this low and we use this as resistance here, that is a very high probability that a decent amount of blood is coming. We're going to see 1 support level, 2 support levels, 3 support levels. If we do find support here, form this higher low and break above this blue line and above the 70 and head to these levels here of the 75 to the 81, there's going to be major fireworks and you're going to see huge pumps out of your crypto. As of right now, though, it does look like we are pointing down. We are touching the moving average. So what that tells me, you never want to see the blue line or your RSI go below the moving average. It's like weakness in that indicator, right? You never want to see your green candles turn to light green because it's weakness in your market structure. If you see the opposite, like your dark red turn to the light red, then that's more power coming into your momentum, more bullishness. So as of right now, your stochastic broke the 70, is coming down. It needs to stay above the 50 in order for this to be a continuation to the upside. If we break below the 50 and your RSI breaks below the moving average, I'm setting an alert right here at the 62.21 on the weekly RSI. That will notify you that this chart pattern that is playing out is a head and shoulders. We went up, we came down, we went up, we came down. If this high is lower than this high, that is a head and shoulders. We will come back down to the neckline of 56.96. And once again, if we've fallen through those levels times and times and times again and proven that this is the macro bottom, I'm not going to be putting money in here, hypothetically speaking, or opening up my long here. I'm looking for a dead cat bounce here and then maximizing on the opportunity at the 44 to the 49 level. But the first thing that comes to my mind, it's like, are we forming a descending triangle on this macro level? Like this pattern from September 2023 that could play out until April 2026 is a descending triangle. Each macro high is coming down lower, and each macro low is forming the same low at the same levels. A descending triangle usually is bearish. If we start seeing bearish sentiment on the monthly and the 2-week and the 3-week, then the weekly descending triangle has a higher probability of breaking down instead of up. If we break this level and go down to the 30, we're seeing major blood. That's when this entire rising wedge could break down. Like that's another thing that I'm thinking about that I keep telling everyone. Like right now, we could do this and see support here at the 105, or we break up and we see resistance, like I said, at that 130, 135 level, because technically right now we're not at resistance and we're not at support. We're at that midway mark. We're like right here. You understand? So are we going to break down, see that support, and pop up to the 140, 150? Possibly. I say F the news and trust the charts, but unfortunately there are news events that will affect the market. Most of the time they're already factored in, but the one I'm talking about is the Fed's lowering rates, right? For the longest time we've been talking about the Fed's lowering rates. Each time the guy comes to the podium, they're keeping it the same. And it usually causes blood thereafter. If they do lower the rates, then I could potentially see this move going to the upside. If they don't lower the rates and they keep it the same, then it's 109,000. And then if something else happens, once again, I'm looking for more blood to like 98, potentially 77,000. This is why I say I buy at support to take profit at resistance. What I'm doing with my profit is looking to capitalize on the best ROI, the best risk reward, right here. Okay, I'm not looking to buy Bitcoin here, 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 here. It just doesn't make sense for someone with my experience and my tools and my data. So the weekly, once again, alert, MACD, right click, add alert. You want to add alert on the MACD crossing the MACD signal. The MACD is the blue line, the signal is the yellow line. You could do this, create. So now on the weekly chart, when this does do this, or this does do this, or this does do this, it works for both ways. Not only does it work for a death cross, it also works for a golden cross. So this will notify you every single time we death cross and golden cross. What's the importance of that? Well, I mean, you don't have to take my opinion, you don't have to take my advice. Just look what happened when we death crossed. The price never made a higher high to the 68,000. We made lower lows all the way to 54. Look what happened when we stayed above section A in the 50. We stayed above section A on the MACD, which is the zero line, and we golden crossed. We went from 55,000 to 107. Look what happened when the RSI broke the moving average and when the MACD death crossed here. We didn't make a higher high to the 105, 106. We went from 105 down to 75. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a break of the RSI to break the moving average. I'm looking for a death cross on the MACD. I'm looking for us not to break the 120 something thousand and for us to fall from 120 to potentially 106. And then I'm looking for that to play out on a 2-week to see if poo-poo hits the fan there and then we don't break the 120 and we head down to 100 to potentially 88. And then I'm looking to see if that happens on the 3-week, because every time it happens on a longer time frame, the percentage of the play increases, right? Look what happened. I mean, I don't even want to say it, from 66 to 13,000. That's if poo-poo hits the fan on the MACD, the RSI, and you start seeing the RSI in section B. You start seeing the stochastic RSI in section B. That's when this rising wedge breaks down and we potentially could fall back down to 77 to 63,000. I keep saying it because it's most recent in a continuation pattern. What was the opposite will be the new opposite. Okay, so we're in an uptrend. So I'm looking for resistance to be support. If this was a downtrend, I'm looking for support to be resistance. Do you understand? This was the most recent support level, the 68,000. Well, then I'm assuming that we're going to do this. If the momentum is up and this was the most recent resistance, which it was back in 2021 and it was in 2024, this rising wedge will break down and we'll go to 67,000. That's when I open up a huge short position with a 5, 10, 15x leverage, allowing my liquidation price to be in the 140s, 150s, knowing that we have potential of this on the horizon. It's just that simple. We just need to understand if we do come back down, then we do go back up, does it do this double top? And like I say, Bitcoin's dominance then goes down while Bitcoin goes up. So once again, you need Bitcoin to go up, you need Bitcoin's dominance to go down, and that allows your alts to go up. If Bitcoin's going up and Bitcoin's dominance going up, that means your alts will go up. But when Bitcoin goes down, your alts will bleed a lot more than Bitcoin does. And Bitcoin will be more stable. You'll have a 2 to 5% correction out of Bitcoin, but 15 to 30% out of your altcoin. And while Bitcoin's dominance is rising from 40% all the way to 65%, Bitcoin is the best performing asset. It's just that simple. So once again, what are we looking for? It's the same lingo. This is why I make these videos. It's the same fucking lingo. I just need you guys to write this stuff down and understand section A, section B, long-term trends, zoom down. Are we above? Are we below? Are we making higher highs, higher lows? What's the trend? Trend lines go with trend indicators. I trust charts over people, the whole nine. So right now, the monthly time frame is at a high value time frame. Yes, when stuff happens on a monthly time frame, you don't mess around with it. When you get a death cross on a monthly time frame, that is nothing to play around with. The last time this happened, okay, not my opinion. You have to compare apples to apples. You can't compare when a death cross happened below the zero line, because that is a different outcome from when the death cross happens above the zero line. So the last time it happened above the zero line was here. Bitcoin went from 66 to 58. When it happens below, it went from 62 to 39. Do you understand? So we're here. We did death cross, but we're above the zero line. Yes, the moving average did break the RSI did break the moving average. What did I say? What am I trying to install into your brains? When this happens, it's bullish. When it happens above this, it's very bullish. You want to be able to catch this, take profit here, evaluate. Open up long here, take profit here, evaluate. Once this happens, you want to be out of the position with the majority of your money and looking to accumulate more if it forms bottoms back at the 50. If it doesn't form a bottom at the 50 and falls back into section B, you have more blood on the horizon, like this. Do you understand? When did Bitcoin's dominance has nothing to do with any other chart? Like I could put on gold right now, but the same thing I just told you will apply to that chart. When did Bitcoin's dominance go bullish? When the RSI broke to 50, MACD golden crossed. MACD golden crossed here. We had resistance, resistance, resistance. Boom, from 59 all the way to 73. RSI broke the moving average, was staying above. We golden cross right here. Bullish, 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 but here was resistance at 47. Once we broke the 50 line right here, Bitcoin's dominance went from 44 to 64. I trust charts over people. What that means is I don't care what people were saying about Bitcoin's dominance because the chart was showing me bullish momentum. Now we're seeing a crack in the ice. I'm going to go to the 3-week. Right? I want to see, are we in section A, section B? Have we death crossed? Are we above the moving average? Are we below the moving average? Where's most recent support? Most recent support is here at the 56. Does everyone see that? Boom. So what I'm going to see is, well, if we come down, are we going to see support at the 56 level? Okay. The weekly. We are now approaching section B on the MACD. We went into section B and used it as resistance. That shows me that this movement that came down to the 63 and popped back up, I trust charts over people. If someone said Bitcoin's dominance was going back to 65%, I would say you're full of shit. Because we saw rejection here at the 49% while the MACD is still coming down, and we went from 62, broke the most recent support at 60, and now are making lower lows. Lower lows where? Probably to about here, like the 57 to the 56%. That's where I could see it being extremely oversold around the 30 and finding support. The only issue is this pattern that has happened has been making higher lows and higher highs. The most recent high is 66%. Because your indicators are in section B, and now entering section B, you're looking for more dead cat bounces and a continuation down. Now, if you remember, if your MACD stays above the 0 and starts to just form a bottom here, we will not break this level of 55 to 56%, and we will form a sideways pattern until the MACD breaks the 0 line. Hope everyone understands that. Like this. You see, we came down, we broke the 0, we broke the most recent support right here of 41%. We came down, but then we started hedging up. We started having golden crosses, and we formed the bottom at 37. We came up, did not form a higher high to the 48%, came all the way back down to 39%, and then started making higher highs and higher lows. Even if you have golden crosses under the 0 line, you're still going flat. Does everyone see that? So as of right now, the high of that flat is 65%. We still need to see if the low of that flat is 56 to 55%. And we could form something like this or something like this, right? You stay flat for a long time until you break down, and then you form a bigger flat, right? You're not breaking the 72%, you're not breaking the 58% until poo-poo hits the fan on the RSI and the MACD. You get a death cross, you go from 57 down to 47%. So as of right now, yeah, Bitcoin is on the downs. Bitcoin's price is not the best. Another key indicator that I use is the Bitcoin CME futures chart, which is BTC1 exclamation point. I usually go to a daily or longer time frame to see if there's a gap, especially after large candles and large momentum. The majority of gaps get filled. As you could see, there is a gap, or was a gap. It kind of got filled here. But I'm talking about something like this. If you ever see a gap and we went up, understand that eventually that gap will come down. So as we had a red candle from 125 to 118, I was curious to see if we were forming a gap to the downside. That's all. Someone asked me to do chain link, so let's look at chain link. So first thing I'm looking at is where are the indicators? Section A, section B. Give me a second. I don't know why it's lagging. There we go. So chain link still looks good even though you could have consolidations. Why? Because your monthly MACD waves are forming bottoms above your zero line. Excuse me, your RSI waves are forming bottoms above the 50. That's totally fine. Your stochastic RSI overbought, oversold. As long as these two stay in section B, this is just showing you a faster momentum indicator. And we're going up. We have been going up since here. So you're looking for a golden cross, a break of the market structure, and a golden cross. Chain link looks great from $12.92. But once again, you can't bet with that because it's too long of a time frame. So now we're here and we're looking at the weekly. I'm looking to see if we're going to do something like this again, or if we're going to do something like this again, or if we have more room to go back to these levels, right? Because technically we're doing this, then we did this. Are we going to meet here at, excuse me, mate, at this level here, right? Where did I get that idea from? Well, $30.64 to $27.41 has been resistance here. It was resistance here in 2022, 21, 21, 21, 21. So what that means is there might be people who bought here still have sell orders here. This is how the market works, cuzzy. That's why you see resistance. People are selling. They don't give a shit about Chainlink. They bought 3 to 4 or 5 years ago, and they're looking to get out without a loss. It's just that simple. Now, once we break resistance levels, that's tremendous. That's huge, and now you're in discovery zone. So, let's analyze. I'm just drawing trend lines to see what's good, cuzzy. Now, this chart pattern that is playing out kind of looks like one that played out already. Pause the video, and this is how trained my eyes are. Does anyone notice this type of pattern that was playing out on a coin that just went parabolic? Do you know the answer? If you guessed XRP, well, you are correct, sir. So let's go to XRP. What pattern is forming? It looks like an ascending triangle, right? I showed you a descending triangle where the support was the same and the highs were getting lower. Well, your resistance is the same now and your support is getting higher. So what we need to see is this section right here I don't care about, right? It's, are we going to do this? See resistance here, do this, find support here, and then do this. Or are we going to do this, Bitcoin poo-poos the bed in March, April, and then we do this and fall back down to here. And then Chainlink forms something like that, like a bigger symmetrical triangle. So let's see. As of right now on a weekly, it looks great. Unfortunately, the play was on July 21st because that was the confirmation of the RSI breaking above, using it as support. Your stochastic broke the 50, your weekly golden crossed. Now, I'm not a huge fan of chasing green candles. I'm not a huge fan of buying something when it's extremely overbought, especially on a daily, 2-day, 3-day, 4-day. So I would technically want to wait, sometimes sitting on your hands the best thing possible, and see if this does stop here, come down, form an invert, a head and shoulders, and then find support again closer towards the 13 to $15 level, and then eventually breaks up when Bitcoin has that second hoorah. Like I said, if Bitcoin's dominance goes down while Bitcoin goes up, then you could see Chainlink breaking above. This would be a measured move from here to here. it would go from here to here, and you're looking at, I don't even want to say it, but $75 to $100 chain link. If you were to break down, unfortunately, you do have to play devil's advocate. Yeah, I mean, you're going back down to your $5, $4 level here. That's the video. Love you guys. I don't want to make it too long. Appreciate the support. Any comments, questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section.